As I was standing there, I was really trying to figure out how can I start this video review for A Christmas Story. I really didn't know how to begin.
4. This might be the quintessential Christmas movie. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. Teach Film Preach. Merry Christmas from me and my family to you and your families. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe. We are fast and rapidly approaching Christmas. Today we are going to continue the list of the 12 days of Christmas watch films, and we are continuing with number 6 today. My sixth choice for the best top 12 Christmas films to watch at Christmas time goes to A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story was written and directed by Bob Clark, also partly written by Gene Shepard, who also wrote the book that this movie is based off of. The movie tells the story about Ralphie, a young boy in 1940 living in Indiana at Christmas time, and he is getting ready to approach Christmas, and more than anything, he wants a Red Ryder BB air rifle gun. He thinks it's the coolest thing in the world. He has fantasies about it, and that is what he's trying to convince his family or Santa or his teacher or someone that can actually get him this present. And that's what this movie is about. It's just about Ralphie trying to get this present and family life at Christmas time. Gene Shepard definitely based this book off of his life and growing up in Indiana. It almost feels like you're taking a snapshot of a family at one Christmas, and you get to see sort of the preparations that come with it, the things that happen at that time, the things that the kid has to deal with, the adults have to deal with, leading right up to Christmas Day, and then actually feeling and celebrating Christmas Day. I think this movie is the quintessential Christmas film as a timeless story because it doesn't really wear itself out, really. It doesn't have to be exactly dated in the 1930s or 1940s when the movie is set. It could be updated to tell a modern story of the same thing. This universal story of Christmas time is what is so appealing about this movie. First of all, this movie is very well written. It is narrated by Gene Shepard, the author of the book.
Oh, for one brief moment, I saw all the bolts silhouetted against the lights of the traffic.
Oh, fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge.
And you can feel that he's got this flavor and this love for this film, these characters and how they're telling his story. You can sense that in his narration, the way that they wrote the script. It feels very personal, really lighthearted, but also darkly comedic. It's not just like a straightforward family film. There's some dark undertones to this movie and some things that deal with marriage and family life and living in the house with people that you don't understand, dealing with bullies, dealing with the social issues that come with being in school, that the social issues that come with having Christmas time and expectations, a kid's fantasies versus a kid's reality, but that there's some real dark undertones to it that is very true. I mean, that is what it is like being a kid, the expectations that we have as kids for Christmas time, and they show that very well in this film. Characters are very great. I love Ralphie in it. Ralphie and Randy as the two kids are hysterical. The mom and dad are great too, and they really needed to create a family that was dysfunctional but still really likable and lighthearted enough that we laugh and want to come back and rewatch these characters all the time and rewatch this movie, but also that there's some weight and heaviness to it. Growing up as a kid, you worry about swearing or get caught for things that you do to your siblings or to your friends, not ratting on each other. It really shows that family life and that family dynamic extremely well. We really do spend an hour and 30 minutes with this family. There are no real other characters besides the bully, a couple of people that come in and out, but it's really focused on one family, and I love that about this film. It allows us to kind of get to know these characters, to really see the mom and dad struggle, to see Ralphie and Randy go up against bullies and what the family dynamics happen there, getting his mouth washed out with soap. There's definitely some comedy, but there's some darkness to that comedy as well. I love the imaginations in this when Ralphie fantasizes about, shooting bandits in his backyard, or how he'll fantasize about his teacher really hating him and giving him a C+ and being an evil witch in the corner, cackling with his mom because they're scheming against him. Any of those fantasy moments in this film are really well done for Ralphie, very funny, and also we get to see his character and who he is by going into his imagination. So it also does a really great job of showing his character and not just something that's fun and lighthearted. The comedy is spot on. The dogs are always running in the house and destroying the house and eating food, and it's a constant threat in this movie to the dad. And the furnace, the thing with the furnace and the lamp, oh my god, the iconic leg lamp is so funny. The kids are enamored with it. Ralphie, yeah, as he's looking up her skirt. And I love the dad when he's on the street and he's, no, to the right, a little more to the right. Oh, it's glorious. It's glorious. And the neighbors are all walking by like... Great scenes in this movie, like I said, from the leg lamp and the fight that the mom and dad have over that to when he's putting on the tire and the bolts go everywhere and Ralphie says, "Oh, fudge." Washing out with the soap, the connoisseur of soap that Ralphie is. Or the very famous scene of the tongue getting stuck on the pole. Then the two bullies and fighting against that. I love the music that they use when the bullies are first introduced. It's Peter and the Wolf. And it works so well because it's so corny and cheesy. How about when Ralphie has to come down the stairs in his pink bunny outfit? So good. I remember the first time I saw that scene, I laughed so hard as a kid. And I loved it. I always wanted that outfit just so I could parody this movie. And I never got one. Maybe one day I will for Christmas. Santa, please. This movie is so great because you get to know these characters. You get to really understand Ralphie. He goes through all these hoops and ladders and goes through all these problems to try and convince his parents to buy him an air rifle. And what's the phrase that everyone keeps saying? "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." Even on his paper that his teacher writes, "Oh no, C+. You'll shoot your eye out." Oh no. Perfect amount of length. They do a really great job editing this movie, especially for a 1980s film, an early 80s film. It's done very well. The special effects that they do have are good. And you can feel like this is just a movie that it captures the spirit of Christmas and growing up as a kid around Christmas time so well. And that's why it's sort of universally loved. I know a lot of people would put this movie as their number one choice, and I understand why. So many great moments in it. It has the humor. It has great dialogue. It has some great scenes. It's very imaginative without being too cheesy or corny about Christmas, but it captures the spirit of growing up around Christmas time and what that feels like and the things that it makes you feel and the importance of family and how those dynamics works. And I love that Ralphie gets what he wants in the end. That scene where the dad had gone out and bought him one because he had one as a kid. And, this whole time the dad is such a grumpy old man and he's kind of always swearing in a bad mood. And then he actually becomes the one that saves the day for Ralphie and gets him the gun. And it's a really sweet and tender scene. One of the heroes of this movie is the mom. I mean, gosh, you look at her, she's doing everything from cooking, cleaning, hasn't had a hot meal in 15 years, does everything for the family, serves them, waits on the father, waits on the kids, takes them to school, bundles them up. And mom is the unsung hero of this film. And I think that's what this movie and this book does really well, is that it highlights the mom as really the protagonist of this film, even though it is about Ralphie and stuff. But really, you could say the hero of this movie is the mom. Accidentally breaks the lamp. Fragile.
It must be Italian.
And she just absolutely hates it. A lot of people have complained about, even though this is a Christmas story, that there isn't really much of a story, but that's the point. Like, it's not about something big and epic. It's about Christmas time. It's about the expectations of kids and what we look forward to and what's the excitement of Christmas time and how important it is for the adults in our world to make Christmas seem like magical and fun and really such a great time, because it is put on adults to make that special for kids, because we had it special for us, or a lot of people did. I'm on that list for sure. This movie really connects with me personally. I think it connects with a lot of people for those reasons, and it's why this is a constant classic that people watch every year at Christmas time, myself included. The only thing that I really don't like about this movie is the really, really long take that's also being as a joke, where at the end they go to the Chinese restaurant and they have Chinese food for Christmas, and people at the Chinese restaurant, and they're doing the deck the halls with bounds of holly. And this is a family film. I mean, racism has been in the States for a very long time, and this is Indiana, and like, yeah, it's still kind of awkward. And you know what? And even if you take the racism out and, you know, having it in a family film, take that out, the scene is just way too long. If you look at it even just as a filmmaking part, as a storytelling part, it really feels like it's so out of the movie. It feels so out of left field that you're kind of like, what? I don't know. I'm not sure what they were thinking. I didn't know if they thought it was really funny. It's just not. It's not a funny part of the movie, and the rest of the movie is so hilarious, and there's such great humor and stuff, but that part just felt really inappropriate. It felt, I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm usually one that's like, screw it, throw it all in, but nah, it felt inappropriate. And it also felt, it went on way too long. That shot of them kind of far away, and they're all eating dinner and listening to them sing and talking about the menu going back and forth and not having turkey and having this duck instead. And it's like a 2-minute scene that, like, I literally after about 30 seconds went, is this scene still going? Seriously? It just looks weird. It's a really weird scene in the movie, and right at the end of the film, so you're kind of like, oh man, like, come on, you had such a great movie, and then they have this really stupid scene at the Chinese restaurant. I'm not saying to take that scene out, but there should have been some rewrites there. There should have been something better produced for that 2-minute scene instead of just these racist jokes and this horrible song and then just showing them eating dinner. It should have been a 20-second scene at most. Would have actually probably made the film a little bit better. Audiences, I say this all the time, they remember the beginning and the end. And whatever happens in the middle happens in the middle, but and you can justify that if you have a really good start and a really good finish. Let's look at Game of Thrones that happened last year. Ending the last 5 minutes is a little rough. It kind of tumbles along its way. But overall, this is a great film. No wonder why it's considered one of the best Christmas films of all time. And for a lot of people out there, it is. And that's why it ranks still pretty high on my list. So with all that in mind, I'm going to give A Christmas Story an A-. This is a classic. You'll love it. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm so shocked. I remember all my teachers, they would always show in springtime, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and in the wintertime, A Christmas Story. I mean, they're both classics. I've seen this movie probably about 20 times, and I still love it now as an adult. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Hope you're having a great holiday season. If you like this video, click like down below. Subscribe. I would love you guys forever. Even if I don't know you and I never meet you or I never talk to you, I still would love you. If you guys like A Christmas Story, come back for more Mr. Teach Film Preach. Check out some more of my 12 Days of Christmas watch films, and we will be finishing off these next couple of days with the top 5. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and as always, let's get taught.